Hey guys, thank you so much for hopping on the Corporate Brilliance / Mermaids on a Mission team call. Tonight we have two very special guests going to be talking to us today. Emily Rickert and Jessica Laska. They are actually in our downline a little further down. And Jessica is Emily's personally sponsored coach, and they have come up with this awesome training on how to make your challenge groups better. So I'm super excited to hear because mine have been like, hello, lately. So I did just want to say it is the 21st of the month, which means we have 10 more days until this month is donezo. So what that means for you guys is that you have 10 days to totally go hit Success Club, and that is absolutely possible. I personally set a goal to hit Success Club 10 by the 10th every month. So that means that you can absolutely hit Success Club 10 in these next 10 days if that's what you're pushing for. I know that we have a lot of you guys on the board with 2 or 4 points. So make sure that you keep working and pushing and, finish this month strong. Please utilize the health bet. You can check my Facebook page for an awesome way to promote it. If you would like to do that, you can check Jess's Facebook page for an awesome way to promote it on hers as well. And it's really just an awesome way to get people in there. And kind of like what some girl commented on mine today, well, what if I hate Shakeology? And I was like, well, you either don't do the bet or you suck it up. Or giving you free money. So I was like, plus you get the 30-day money back guarantee. And she was like, oh, that's right. So, it's definitely a great way to get people interested. And I personally feel like once you get somebody that's trying it for an entire month, they're not going to want to stop trying it, because it took me a little bit to get used to the flavor and stuff too. And I'm normally not a shake person at all. But so it took a little bit to get in and get, what my best flavor is and whatever. And so that we need to allow that to our challenge. And I think this is a perfect way to do that, because otherwise people will get in, they try it the first time, they hate it, and then they just toss it away, don't finish, then you guys don't have results to share, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Emily and Jessica and mute myself. So please remind me to unmute when I talk to you again later. And, go ahead, guys.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, and I'm on the wrong screen. Hang on one second. Where'd you guys go? Oh, there you are. Okay. All right. Can you guys see this? Is this big enough, or do you need me to go into presentation mode? And everyone's muted, so no one can really answer me. You're good? Okay. I can only see Rachel, so I'll just go off of your feedback. All right. So let me just scroll over here. Okay. So before 2016, our team ran our challenge groups pretty similarly to probably how you guys are doing it, where it was a monthly start and end, and we were kind of doing them more separated. We didn't have a giant team doing it together. We broke off into, like, a couple coaches would run it here or there, and we were kind of running into just a lot of problems with getting that, like, oomph in our groups. So we were lacking participation. People would start off strong for maybe a week and then just kind of die down. So we met at Starbucks one morning and just had this awesome idea to do like an ongoing challenge group. And we just sat down and brainstormed all these ideas to bring to the group. And we decided that instead of trying to kill ourselves doing all these separate little groups, we were going to just combine into one giant team. So my downline and Jess's downline all got together in one big group. We called it Love Your Body Boot Camp. And this presentation is going to show how we run the group. So you can see the benefits there. I won't read them to you, but those were some of the major benefits that we noticed by switching to running our groups this way.
All right. So basically, the one big thing that we kept going back and forth about, and part of the reason why, for me, I wanted to have that continual group is because I would have people that would, sign up with me first thing at the beginning of the month. But if I wasn't having a challenge group opening up for like 3 weeks, they didn't really want to wait. So it was really nice to be able to not say to somebody, hey, I've got this group going. It's in like the next, it's 18 days away. You can look over your stuff, hold off on drinking your, any of that. But we wanted to be able to kind of just throw them right into the group, get them started the day they order so that they can get excited. They can kind of get accustomed to everything while they're waiting for their kit to arrive. So we came up with this idea to have this kind of getting started right post. So we have that as our pinned post to the page, to the group. And so it has just like a little blurb. You can kind of see it there where we kind of give them a hint on right the weekend before, here's what you could be doing. And then we made these videos to kind of give them, first off, a chance to kind of see us and have us explain some of our biggest tips to them. So, just a general how to get started, how to make Shakeology the right way, because I'm sure you guys know there are so many people that just take it, throw it in a bottle, shake it, and drink it, and then tell you they hate it. So that I had somebody like recently almost go and return it because she didn't, actually read what we suggested. So we have that. We have, how to meal plan, because again, that's another huge thing. So we kind of had a video. Now mine is a little bit different in my challenge group now that we've split off into our own teams. The one we have, one of the coaches on my team, Kim, she actually showed them how to plan from start to finish. So she focused on dinners first, then kind of figuring out your lunches from there. But just having a general how you go about your meal planning to help them so that they're not as overwhelmed with that aspect. And then how to win prizes, which we're going to talk about that later on. But there is a video for them about that too. And then the file section, which is almost more now for us photo albums, more so than file sections. And that's another thing we'll get into, but that's all there. So they kind of know how to navigate the group and get the most out of the experience.
And every time we add someone to the group, we introduce them and we say, be sure to check out our photo albums. And then we tag them in this post. So no one can tell you they didn't know how to win a prize or they didn't know how to make Shakeology. Like, they can take control and go through this stuff. It's all right there. All right, so in our old groups, we would just flood our file section like crazy, and no one except us knew what was there, and no one ever used it. So we set up the photo albums instead of using the file section for a lot of the information. So you can see kind of the different albums that we set up, and it's nice because they're just constant works in progress. So if a challenger shares a great recipe they had, one of us will try to get in there and screenshot it and then upload it to the recipe section. And anytime someone shares a meal plan, even if it's a file, we'll try to open it up, screenshot it, and add it to the photo album section. So this is just a loaded resource that just keeps growing, and the challengers can go in and add it themselves. They don't need like admin rights to do that. So it's nice because it's personalized to the group and to what everybody is dying to get their hands on. It saves you time on Pinterest too. And then in the file section, I think I don't even put that much in the file section anymore that I have listed there. I think in mine, I just have a blank document for them to download and type in their own meal plan. So I have a blank meal planning document. It has a grocery list like attached to it that they can make at the same time. The measurement tracker is in there. And I think that's all that I put in the files. Do you put anything else in your files? No, that's it?
No.
Yeah. So, and I didn't mention this, Jess touched on it. We had started initially as one giant team. And then as we were growing our own teams and getting more coaches, we decided to split. So our coaches in our groups would have more of a leadership role because it was too many cooks in the kitchen after a while. So we do have 2 separate groups now.
All right. So The way the cover photo works here is we have our challenger of the week. And so this was something that Emily and I had attended, like it was a diamond training last fall. And one of the things that somebody shared was that they do this to recognize their challengers. And that they're like, it doesn't have to be a prize. It could just be, a little photo. So we actually did connect it to the prize, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is the cover photo that I made. And basically what we do is we go in, and then each week when we select our challenger of the week, whoever their coach is goes in and just edits it to give them that photo. It's that recognition. They stay up for that whole week. And usually when we make that post too, we'll give a little blurb too, announcing, this person did such a great job this week. They not only did our challenge, they also checked in and they really supported others. Just to kind of reiterate to everyone else, what the challenger of the week is. Challenger of the week is not somebody who's just in it for themselves. They're really being a valued member of the group and they're supporting others. So that's become our really big determining factor.
Okay, I'm seeing some questions being posted. Let's go to those at the end though. All right. So this is the most amazing thing that has happened to our groups. And if you take one thing away from this call, let it be this. One of our problems with our other groups, and I actually got complaints from challengers, was that they were getting notifications all day. And they were turning notifications off because people were just constantly posting in our group. And so we created a daily check-in post. And we let people know, and it says right there, everything that is posted for that day needs to go in a comment on this post unless it's a question or results that they want to share. So this has alleviated a lot of stress. It's made so many things easier. When we talk about the prizes, you'll understand why this is super easy for that. But it gives coaches the coaches in the group only really have to go to one post for the day. And we can just get in there and respond to all of the comments on that thread. And so everybody in the coach is heard. Their posts for the day aren't getting lost. And if you have challengers that are making posts that aren't really that significant, or you kind of, sometimes, I don't know about your groups, we have people make posts where you're like, that wasn't really a challenge group post, but it's on this thread and it's not, people aren't getting notifications to stop what they're doing and go read that post. Mm-hmm. So this has been amazing. And truly the magic in our groups, I really believe, comes from not only this post, but that we ask all of the coaches in our group to get in nightly and respond to every comment, especially from their people, but as many people as they can get to in that night. And it makes people feel heard, and there's interaction, and it's amazing. So I really feel like we could run an entire group by just posting daily check-in posts, and it would still be an active group, because these have just been awesome. Did you want to add anything to that, Jess?
No, the only thing I was going to say is that I know you mentioned getting complaints from challengers. I even had coaches telling me that they had turned off notifications and then were missing their own challengers checking in or asking questions or things like that because they had turned them off. So that was part of our reasoning for it too, is because, me, I'm a teacher, I'm at school. If my phone's going off all the time, it drives me nuts. So, even with this individual post, I can go in, comment, turn off the notifications, and then I just know to go back later that night and comment on it. So I'm not getting my phone blowing up all day. And then, just like said, with the coaches being required to participate, I tell my coaches, because a lot of them do work full time and a lot of them have kids, I've kind of told them your biggest responsibility first, check in, model for your challengers, that you are just like they are. This is what you expect from them. Then make sure you're responding to them, and then ideally go in and support everyone else. But that's kind of how, when those days have been super hectic, they've kind of had that 3-tiered system of, okay, I at least did my check-in so that I showed up, and then they would maybe go back the next day and respond to people.
And I would suggest posting this as early as possible in the morning. So when my alarm goes off to wake me up, this is what I post. I wake up, I open my eyes, and I grab my phone and I post this. And it's just a habit now. I've done all of these because it's just easier to just do it. It's a routine for me. I think do you have 2 people doing them or just one?
I actually have, Lisa said that it would hold her accountable to get up and do her workouts, so she took over doing all.
Perfect. Yeah, so if you have the same person doing it every day, they have to worry about trying to keep an eye out to make sure it got done.
Okay, so the mini challenges, I know we talked about these briefly, but this is something we decided to implement as kind of a way to determine prizes, and that's actually going to be our next slide. But basically, with mini challenge, we have used that as our starting point for like the first tier of qualifying for the prize and to be considered Challenger of the Week. So these get posted on Wednesdays, and it really is a great way to, identify those real go-getters, those people who are going to go the extra mile, and sometimes it's silly stuff like drink your water or go do your lunges while you're brushing your teeth. It's nothing major that we're requiring them to do, but it shows us who wants to go that extra step, who wants to put in that extra time. And so these are what we use as our first identifier. And anybody who has completed these are then eligible to be that Challenger of the Week. So these are just all sorts of different ideas. We kind of recycle them every 8 weeks because we figured, that would be essentially 2 months with no repeats. And it really is just kind of a nice extra little oomph to give the group that week.
Mm-hmm. And I think we've both done this. We have one coach in charge of the Wednesday mini challenge, and we kind of let them put their spin on it. So they're in charge of creating it and posting it, and they can change it up as they want, but it's nice to have just one person doing it consistently. All right, so prizes. Back in the day, before we started doing this, we used to have a point system, and it was horrible for us, at least, because you'd have the first week, people would be starting strong, and then you'd start to realize, okay, clearly this person's going to win the prize. And so people would just start getting up because they were smart enough to realize, like, there's no way I can catch up with this person in those points. So by doing it weekly, everyone gets a fresh start. So the prize, we post ahead of time. So like tonight, I'm going to post in my group, I'll post the prize for this coming week. And we do good prizes. Like this week was a sports bra. Last week we had workout capris. Generally, we spend about $10 to $12 on a prize. And that way, if someone's been kind of dormant for a while and then they see that like workout capris are posted, all of a sudden you'll see people like coming back in like, oh, I really want that. And then they'll just start participating. So it kind of brings people back in. So they have to complete the mini challenge, like Jess said. And then what I do when I go to look back for prizes, I'll start on that mini challenge. I'll write down all the challengers' names that completed the mini challenge. Then I'll go into each daily check-in, and I open up the whole thread, not only just who posted in it, but also who responded. So I just have a little Monday through Saturday chart where I just check off like if Nicole did the mini challenge, yes, she checked in on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday. But then I also, as I'm reading through these, I'm looking for, she's also replying to other people's check-ins, and she's offering support, and she's going that extra step. So that's significant because you will have, at least we've had a lot of people that'll do the mini challenge and check in every day. But what makes it easier to pick the winner is you can identify those people who are clearly going in and supporting other people in the group. And those are also huge, like, identifiers for potential coaches on your team. So we select the prize winner through a private chat. So all the coaches that are admins in the group, I'll get all the stats for the week and I'll send a group message like, okay, I just take a picture of my little stat sheet. Okay, here's the list of people, here are their check-ins, and then I put little stars for every day that they supported another person. And then as a group, we all vote on who we want as the challenge of the week. Now, sometimes you'll have someone that wasn't as active that week, but they've had 2 weeks before that they were incredible. So we do take into account, like, if they've been with us for a while. What else? We switch the prizes up. So as far as paying for this, at the beginning of each month, I'll send out a group chat to the admin coaches on our group, and I'll just say, who has a challenger, at least one. If you have one challenger, you're part of the prize pot. Like, that's non-negotiable. Even if the challenger doesn't participate, like if you have someone in our group, you have to put into the prize pot. And we figure out how many coaches there are, and then I try to budget $10 to $12 a week, split it up, everyone pays an equal amount. So sometimes you'll have a coach that doesn't have a challenger right away at the beginning of the month, but then they get one later on. And so Jess came up with the idea that if within the first 2 weeks they get a challenger, they have to put into the prize pot. And if they get a challenger in week 3 or 4, they only have to put in if that person wins for the week. So that's kind of how we've worked it out. It's worked well. It is what it is. We do also have a different group. We run a team-wide maintenance group called Fit for Life, which when people are done with our active challenge group, that's where we put them. So if we have coaches that are like, well, our challengers aren't participating, we don't want to put in the money, then those challengers need to move to Fit for Life. They cannot be in the active group if you don't want to pay for them. So that's how we've worked it out. It's worked really well for us. And everything's Amazon Prime. I just find something on Amazon Prime and then send it because I hate going to the post office. And it's nice to not worry about points or grand prizes. It's just every single week we do this. And if you guys have questions, feel free to unmute and just, pop them out. All right. You ready, Jess?
Yep. All right. So part of what we had done at the beginning, because when we ran our old group, before this whole second daily post, we obviously would have, the coach making a post each day. Maybe it was, tips about water this day, and then asking about your workout, how things are going. We didn't want to have to come up with 2 full months worth of posts. So what we came up with instead was kind of a menu of different ideas. And so we have, for every day, we came up with about 8 different topics that people could post on. And basically what we did, and you can kind of see it here, is each coach would volunteer to be the daily value post, is what we refer to them as. They would make that post for that day. And so they'd have these kind of topic ideas, but they could easily do something else if they wanted. They didn't have to use these. These were just kind of there to give them a starting point. And then again, since it was 8 weeks, the challengers wouldn't be seeing, every Thursday isn't going to be Think About It Thursday, or, every Monday is not going to be Munchy Monday. So they're going to see 8 different topics over the course of the 2 months on every rotating day. We do have a couple that are recurring. So at the Monday of every month, we have people introduce themselves and kind of just talk about their goals. And so we chose to do this because since it is an ongoing group, that way we kind of get to know each other again, and people can check back in and say, my goal last month was to do this, but I've really noticed that I'm not focused on weight anymore. Now I'm trying to tone up this month. Or, it helps them too to kind of set a good focus point for the month. Saturdays, we alternate generally between Saturday. So the first one is 2 weeks into the month, and then at the end of the month. And then usually a Shakeology Saturday. So kind of spotlighting an ingredient within that day's post. Or sometimes it can even just be, sharing something that you've noticed from Shakeology and like how that's improved your life. And then Sundays, we have the Challenger of the Week announcement and the new prize for the next week. So some of them, stay pretty simple, but it's been really cool kind of seeing like my downline and their coaches kind of create their own little spin on each day. And even yesterday would have been a Shakeology Saturday, but we kind of noticed that kind of people were kind of down, I think, because of the whole going back to school and everything. So Tiff ended up making a show me your smile and tell me something you're happy for Saturday. And we had a lot of responses. It was just post a selfie of yourself smiling. And, it's nice to have that flexibility to just kind of breathe new life into it if you kind of notice that stuff's kind of going stale a little bit.
Okay, so every 4 weeks in the group, pretty much at the end of the month, we make a post that says, it's the one that says challenge your choice right there with the bulleted list of 3 choices. And we have a big graphic that says read and respond to this post. And the text is that there. And we basically are asking them, do they want to stay in this active challenge group and check in every day? Do they want to do that and also, we added to it, didn't we, Jess?
Yeah, I was going to say this is actually
okay. This is old. Yeah, so we have 4 choices in our updated one. We have, do they want to just stay as a challenger active in this challenge group? Do they want to be in this challenge group and get more information on coaching? Do they want to stay in this group or continue their journey, I think is the words we use, and get a discount or information on getting a discount on their Shakeology? Or do they want to move to our maintenance group, which is Fit for Life, which is still, it's really not that active. We probably post maybe 4 times a week in there, but it's nice to have all of our old challengers in one spot. So we move, they say 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then each coach just moves their people where they need to go. And it's really opened up quite a few doors with people that want the discount or want more info on coaching, because all they're doing is putting a number. So it gives you that, put your feelers out for who to talk to. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of 4 weeks, we do the coach prize pay-in again. And every 2 months, we recycle the topic ideas. Honestly, at this point, I don't even touch that menu of ideas. I feel like our coaches have been doing this since January, so they just kind of get it. And I don't even know if they're following our menu. They just, at least mine, like they do posts that they want to do. And then we always, for our own coaches, we say, if you are ready or you want to move on and branch out or team up with another coach, like you are welcome to all of our resources. We will email you every graphic, everything. So it's nice to have a system to just hand down to our team. Like when you're ready to fly, like, go ahead. So then they have all of it. But honestly, being in a bigger group is really nice. It's just less work for everybody and really good participation. So with that was our last slide. Let's pull up. I saw some things on the chat.
Yeah, I actually just went in and responded to one of them, which you actually had just addressed, which was whether or not we ask our coaches to add to the group. One thing with that we did kind of express to our downline was that there are certain expectations for this group, and that, anybody is welcome to add their challengers to our groups, but that, there had to be that understanding that, for example, we've had issues where people are posting other shakes or posting about other at-home workout programs. And we've had to tell them that, if that happens, we need to make sure that post is being deleted and you're reaching out to them, expressing, in a nice way that, I'm totally fine with you doing whatever works best for you. I want to be here to support you. But because of the nature of the group, I would ask that you refrain from mentioning names of competing products. And if a coach is uncomfortable with that, then, they would not be able to add to our group. They'd have to go off and create their own with their own expectations. But we really haven't had issues with anybody having a problem with that. But we do kind of, when people come in and ask if they can add to our group, we do make sure they understand that.
And Trisha's question, we actually just addressed.
Go ahead and exit out of the full screen just so we can see people.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. So can the challenger win more than one time in a month? We set up kind of like a priority prize thing. So like if we're looking at our list of potential winners, the people that will always get first priority are people that haven't won a prize yet. And then like the second tier, like would be people that have won a prize. And I don't even know if we have a third tier. So we always give priority to people that have not won a prize yet. I guess if there was a week where you only had people eligible that had already won a prize, that's what we would do. Let's see. As far as paying, I have PayPal and I have Chase QuickPay. So I just let them choose however they want to pay me for the prize pot. And
I have a few questions too.
yeah.
Okay, so I have tried this in the past. Like we ran one all last year, whatever. So how do you keep your coaches engaged? I'm assuming that like every month you do like that check-in where they have to pay in, and if they're not wanting to participate, then you're just like, or what?
Do you do it the same way as I do it now, Jess?
What do you mean?
Like, so, okay, I'll speak. Go ahead and jump in if you do it differently. So I mean, we both are very upfront with our coaches about the expectations of the groups, but you will always have people that, for whatever reason, aren't meeting the expectations of the groups. And what I've kind of just done is to not stress myself out, is I kind of look at it as like, okay, you're helping us pay for the prize. And if you're not going to be an active participant in the group, it's really, they're the ones that are hurting because their challengers then are the ones that are not checking in. And if it becomes a big problem, I just ask them to move their challengers to Fit for Life if I feel like I'm doing all of the work for all of their challengers. So that's kind of how I've handled it. It's really taken a lot of stress off though, like just looking at it as like we're all like doing it together, like especially with the prize money. Like if it's still helpful to have a lot of people paying in for that. So I focus on, okay, that was the contribution, and it's really hurting their own business and progress if they don't want to check in with their challengers. So I've just kind of let it go, honestly.
Okay, so do you kick people out of the ongoing group? And
Coaches or challengers?
Challengers. Do you kick them out? Like if they aren't on Shakeology after the first month? I know you guys have an 8-week cycle. So do you kick them out if they aren't on Shakeology? And then with that as well, do they have to be on Shakeology to win one of your prizes for the week?
Okay. I'll talk, and then if you want to go off of that. So we kind of both had decided we didn't want, at least at this point in our coaching careers, to kind of insist that people be on Shakeology. So, because I can't tell you how many people I've gotten that started out maybe even as a free customer who bought it off of Amazon, and then went on to be coaches. So we kind of just recently implemented if they start out with us, or even if they're continuing with us and they're not drinking Shakeology, I created a little script that I would send them. And I tell them that, I have these two options. One is the Fit for Life. It, doesn't have a lot of daily interaction, but access to coaches. And the other is this one. And then I just say, but it is primarily for those drinking Shakeology. So if you see posts related to it or people seeking advice, I ask that you leave that to the coaches and the challengers, because we've had people kind of chime in and offer negative advice or things like that. So that's kind of how we address it with allowing them in the group. And as for prizes, kind of the way we work that is we consider it, that first tier would be either a brand new customer or an active customer, meaning they've purchased from us or their coach within the past month. Okay. So as long as they made some purchase in the past month, it doesn't have to be Shakeology, but as long as they've somehow contributed to our businesses, then we feel like, they've earned that prize.
Okay. So now I have two more questions. I was like writing the whole time. Sorry. So how are you going to do the health bet on the app with this whole thing? What are you doing with that?
We haven't talked about this, so I don't know how you're doing it. I'm going to set up the health bet on the app, and I'm going to post in our challenge group and in our maintenance group and say, if you want to win money, here's one little extra step you need to do. Okay. Let me know if you want to be added to the app. And we're not going to stop our challenge group. I feel like we've come too far, and it's too beneficial of a group. So it's going to be one little extra step, but they're getting free money, and it's probably something they're literally just going to copy and paste or, transfer the picture over there. So I don't think it's too much to ask.
One thought that I had to do with it was to possibly offer, as long as I would be able to create that cushion within our challenge group prize fund, would be to offer like anybody who follows through and completes the whole month bet would be eligible for like a raffled off prize, like nothing expensive, like an extra $5 Starbucks card or something like that, to just give them that extra incentive. And let them know that it's going to help them keep themselves accountable too, because they get that little alert to drink their shake and that kind of stuff.
And then if those people really like the health bet afterwards, are you going to continue using the app or no? And we only have less than a minute. So I also wanted to say, do you have a good amount of coaches actually branch off after that 8 weeks and start their own? Or is it just Jessica so far and you still have, I'm just wondering, like, how does this really build leaders, or is it still kind of like they're still wanting to stay in the nest sort of thing? So I don't know if you guys can answer that in 30 seconds, but.
The health bet, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. I don't see myself not doing the challenge group that we've already set up.
Okay.
Maybe the challenge tracker app would be an extra, or I don't know. I've never used it full on, so we'll see. And then what was the other one you just asked me? Oh, leave the nest.
Yeah, like if they leave the nest, do you have a good amount of coaches actually like leaving the nest, or they just stay with you guys?
No, I think it's really been helpful for them to stay with us because our team is full-time working people. So having the ability to have that support to help run the group has been significant. Jess has a big team now, so it was easy for her to branch off. But our coaches, even if they have 4 or 5 coaches, they're not necessarily business coaches or coaches that would want to help. So I think that's the difference. Once they get enough active coaches, that would be easier to break off.
Yeah.
Do you want to add to that, Jess? You probably have like 2 seconds.
No, that's pretty much all I was going to say. I have seen like a couple of my coaches becoming bigger leaders within the group though.
Yeah.
So we branched off. I have noticed that kind of taking effect. So I think having the slightly smaller groups did help.
Yes. Agreed.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking some time and sharing it with us. I think it was awesome. I have this recording saved, so I will upload it and send the link out. And